What are you doing?
Somebody, Adam, has volunteered me to be Santa at the village hall for the kids. So, cheers for that.
You're welcome.
Never mind. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Kids will enjoy it.
I'm sure they will. So, I'm getting ready because I'm heading over to the village hall in about 20 minutes. And I'm meant to look like Santa. Do I look like Santa?
Getting there.
I feel like I need a bit more padding. Maybe I need to eat more mince pies. If only I liked mince pies, which I don't.
Making spirits bright.
Benji, you're not going.
That's a bit better, isn't it?
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas!
Benjamin.
Hang on a sec, what's this? Did we really decide to rip out the open fireplace and replace it with a stove just before Christmas? Are we mad? Probably. But as charming as the old fireplace was, unfortunately it had to go. It was unsafe, and let's face it, most of the heat was just escaping up the chimney. But don't worry, we did manage to video the process, as we kind of figured you would probably be interested in seeing this. So put your feet up as we head back in time. Well guys, the fireplace has finally gone. As you can see, there is just a big hole in the wall of the cottage. So the stove guys were out today. They've removed the old fireplace and they basically prepping this area ready for the multi-fuel burner stove to go in. Now, the problem is obviously with old buildings like this, you just never know what you're going to find once you start ripping something like that out. And the condition of the wall behind, it's not as good as we would have liked it to have been. It was kind of made up with a mishmash of wonky stones that are, a lot of them quite corroded because it's quite damp behind there. Brick, just standard house bricks. None of this cottage is made with bricks, so it's obviously just, previously they just kind of put bricks in just to kind of fill it in. And, you know, just the usual, the cement mortar, which as I've spoken about many a time previously, the cement mortar is contributing to the damp issues in the with the cottage. So there's quite a bit of work to do. They've had to remove some stones and they're going to put some more stones in, and it just looks a little bit like a cave at the moment over there. Now we kind of want it to look traditional and rustic, cottagey vibe, but not quite as rustic as that. Like you said, it does look a little bit like a cave. So the suggestion that they've come up with, the stove guys, is to start with the lintel that was in there was just a concrete block, and I'll show you that in a second. It is just hideous. So that had to go to start with, and they've replaced it with this horizontal, beautiful sandstone lintel, which they are going to kind of distress a little bit and, you know, knock little bits out of it to make it look a little bit more oldie-worldy, so it doesn't look so perfect and flat. And so the other idea is, I don't know if you can see on the, which way are we, left side, right side? This one over here, the exposed stone, it's just, someone previously has obviously just hacked bits of stone off to create these kind of two pillars on either side, and it just looks rubbish. So the idea that they've come up with is basically source more lengths of this beautiful reddish coloured sandstone and have those as the supporting pillars for the lintel. So I think we're going to go ahead with that idea. It will be a little bit more expensive, but I just think as much as we do want it to look quite rustic and oldie, we don't want it to look like a cave. So I think just having that beautiful sandstone framing the opening for the stove will make it look absolutely beautiful. So they're away now because they've been working here since the crack of dawn. Unfortunately, I couldn't record them doing all of this work because I had to go into work today, so I wasn't here to film. However, we did have Benji's doggy cam on, so I can show you some little kind of sneak peeks of the process of them removing the old fireplace and getting to this stage. The guys will be back tomorrow. I'm working from home tomorrow, so I will be down with my camera, making sure that I capture as many kind of snippets of this project as I possibly can to share with you guys. And that's just piles of rubble that the guys have removed from the fireplace. And there is the horrible concrete lintel that was in. So I think you'll all agree that the sandstone lintel that they're replacing it with looks far better. And definitely more in keeping with the style of the cottage as well, seeing as though most of the cottage is made from a mix of sandstone and whinstone. So with the old fireplace out, we can actually see right up the chimney. And you can see why it was recommended to have a stove fitted and a liner put down the chimney. So I'm actually working today in the office upstairs, but I've just popped in. Hiya, give us a wave. This is a stove guy. Just popped down to try and get some quick video clips before they get too far ahead, because I'm scared in case I miss out on some of the progress. So you can see what's going on behind us. So the beautiful pieces of sandstone that I was telling you about, that they replacing, what do you call those parts? Sorry, the upright parts?
The two jams and the lintel, basically.
The jams and the lintel. So as beautiful as the pieces of sandstone are, they look a little bit too manufactured because they are perfectly straight edges and perfectly new. So we've got them to kind of rough them up a little bit and make them look a little bit more rustic, just by giving the sharp edges a bit of a bevel and kind of random scarring on the face of the stone, which is how stone would be over time once it's weathered. But you can see the old hearth's gone, and it's just bits of earth and stuff underneath that. So
probably the original floor there.
The original floor,
which probably been an earth floor, depending how old the house is. So.
Well, it's. Somebody had mentioned that they think there might have been cattle in here at one point, because this was two cottages knocked into one. So one part might have been for cattle, and the other's where the other side where the humans live.
Keep you warm with cow,
yeah. But wouldn't that be something? So let's go over and take a bit of a closer look. So you can see here where the old hearth was. It's just dirt. As he said, probably the original floor before they start putting the concrete down. You can just see underneath the carpet here, the carpet grips, and that's just concrete there. You can see blobs of concrete here. That's fallen out. This big piece of wonky stone was one of the jambs, which was on this side, and you can see this jamb is still here. We did consider leaving those in for authentic rustic look, but as I said, there's rustic and then there's just a bit knackered. So we're replacing them with these beautiful pieces of sandstone, but as you can see, the edge on these, it's a little bit too manufactured. It's very, very clean cut. So the guy's outside now, I'll pop out in a second. He's just taken the sharpness of this by beveling the edges and making them a little bit more kind of weathered and rusticy looking. But I have to say, it is quite alarming coming downstairs and seeing this massive hole in the wall. But we have faith that it's going to look absolutely stunning once it's finished. And keep the cottage warmer, of course. So this is Chris. He's working his magic on rustifying. Rustifying, is that a word?
That could be the one.
That's a new word. I've just made that up. Rustifying this brand new piece of sandstone to make it look a little bit older and weathered. So you can see here what I was talking about. We just basically chip in away at this sharp edge, which makes it look too manufactured, and creating this rough rustic bevel. And it might not look great at the moment, but we're kind of
weathering.
We're scarring the front. Now you may be looking at this and going, oh my god, what's he doing to it? But trust him, he knows what he's doing. This will eventually, once it weathers in, this will make it look more rustic and less new. Because the thing is, we don't want it, you know, it's expensive stone. We don't want it to look like a manufactured piece of concrete. If you remember, this was the original lintel above the fireplace. We want it to actually look like it's
Been there forever.
Yeah, like it's been there forever. So he's doing a fantastic job at this, and we'll leave him to it, and we'll pop back later and see how they're getting on.
It's quite soft at the edges because what they'd rebuilt, it was more solid
Right.
in the middle, so this is just kind of loose fill.
Yeah.
Really, so bits of stuff.
It's hard to imagine that this is going to be flat and even enough to have the stove on at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot better. Bigger space, more heat out as well, because you'll get more convected air around the appliance. So it's going to be a reasonably low fireplace, but there's plenty of width there, and it's a lot of the heat is actually getting it to convect rather than just kind of radiant heat out of the glass. So the whole thing will warm up. It's going to help dry the wall out, encourages air change in the house, so it's going to be a good thing.
Oh, brilliant! So having the bigger opening, what do you call this? The kind of recess bit.
Yeah, just your
Will help the
fireplace.
heat convect the heat.
Yeah, more space around the stove, the better really. So these stoves are highly efficient, so as much as you can open up a fireplace is always better. It's not always possible, but this is a generous opening, I think you can say. So
Great!
yeah.
I'm so glad we've got a generous opening.
Aren't we? You're happy, aren't you? Yes, you are.
Benji, you're going to be nice and toasty and warm in this cottage now.
Oh, that'll be his spot right here. sheet with this, it's easier than carrying a cement mixer.
Yeah.
That's just basically a plaster whisk. What plasterers and floor tilers use for beating stuff up, so we find it works a treat.
I need to get myself one of them because when we laid the patio in the previous house, I had to mix it all by hand.
Yeah,
and it took ages.
You'd have 4 hands on top,
Adam was like, "Oh, it won't take long." I was there all week mixing it by hand. In the meantime, let's take a look and see how they're getting on with the one in the bedroom. So they've taken off the back panel, which was, I don't know what it was, just a piece of, kind of big square piece of wood. And what we've discovered behind it, it's not the natural stone wall that we had hoped for. It's previously been rendered with a cement render, and I don't know if you can see here because of the light, but there are cracks in the render. Not sure if you can make those out. So what can be done about that? Well, the problem is if we take the render off, you don't know what state the stone wall is going to be behind it, so it could be opening a whole other can of worms. So I think what we're going to do for the time being is just leave it as it is, because the stove will kind of hide most of that anyway. And what I've been told is if we decide we want to tile the back of it with a nice stone or slate tile in the future, or remove that render in the future, it's fairly easy for the guys to come back out and take the stove out rather temporarily, so we can get access to the back to do whatever we want. So yeah, I think we're just going to leave that as it is for the time being. So what's happening here is Nick is rendering the back.
Yeah, start with a deep pack point just to get some grip, and the lower bit, obviously it looks terrible at the moment, but just to get some kind of bond on there, and then we'll go over that again.
Yeah.
Chris is outside just trimming up the jambs there, so we'll get one side in, then we can level across for the top piece then. So there's a bit of everything. We're juggling around the job at the moment, but yeah, this will be going in, going off.
Yeah.
And just really trying to consolidate it. So.
And one of the reasons for rendering the back, so it's a lime-based render, isn't it? So it's breathable, it's not cement. And one of the reasons for rendering it is, well, to start with, the stone is so old and ridiculously higgledy-piggledy, isn't it?
I would love to have kept it, but there was a big gouge in the middle, and it's just you through basically to the outside wall.
Yeah. So
yeah, we're just going to pull it together like this, so it'll be an undulating finish on the back, so it'll be kind of traditional, more of a traditional look, but it's also helping to consolidate that back wall
to make sure stones don't fall out and things like that. Yeah.
Just to kind of keep something there, and obviously dust as well. I say there's some nice patches of stonework, but then there's not. So
yeah.
To pull all that, yeah, you'd be kind of rebuilding the whole wall. So for ease, we're going this route on it. So it's always the ones that you want to have nice stonework, or it's not there, and then all the ones where you're covering it up, there's normally nice stonework. So
yeah.
Always the strange looking part of this. It's kind of, who knows what it's going to be, but it'll all come good.
Wow, this looks amazing.
I see once that's rendered and that and built back up, it pointed at the sides, all held in place. Beautiful. Yeah. Really nice bits of stone you've got there, mate. Like I say, I ken that they've been be pre-cut, but now that they look stressed and that over time, it's gonna look the piece like really is.
Yeah, no, they look far better than I thought they were gonna. I'm so glad we decided to
give them the weather effect.
Yeah. Well, to replace those
you had to.
existing, what do you call them? The jams, the upright
mate,
pieces?
Yes, they were just too rustic.
Yeah, definitely too rustic. Yeah.
But as I say, we're going to put the plate in there, and then when I build that up, because if I was just building that just now, I could only put stones on there the width of the lintel, but when we've got the plate in, which is your cover, and then the hole goes in the middle for the line to come down through with the adapter, I can go slightly over, and know what I'm saying, I can build onto it, and it gives me a bit more leeway with the size of stone that I can put on there if the steel's on there.
Right, yeah, that makes sense, yeah. It looks so good, don't you think?
Yeah,
Maybe just get a
yeah.
close up. So what Chris has done here, as I explained earlier, is basically kind of chiseled off some of what was a really hard edge that made it look really too new and manufactured. So we've got this kind of rustic beveled edge and all these little scars and dinks, which you would get with the more kind of weathered
Sandstone, yep.
Yeah, because obviously, well, you can see the rest of the stone on the cottage is definitely old and weathered, so you don't want it too jarring. That looks stunning. That's really going to frame it nicely, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to look gorgeous. It really is.
Do love the natural stone. This is my latest thing now. Getting into the lime mortar on the original stone.
Yeah.
Maybe a stonemason is my next career, or a stove fitter.
You can have my job.
I can be your apprentice.
And then say when the hearth's in, the big slate hearth, honestly, it's gonna look.
Yeah.
It'll suddenly pull together because at the moment, I mean, there's a big twist in the wall. We've just spent
10 minutes, evens in it, odds in it, and evens in it in the wall.
Dives in, this kind of comes out, and it's just trying to get some kind of balance onto it. So you're seeing the edge. Obviously, you're going to have more edge visible this side because the way the wall curves back.
Yeah.
This side, the wall leans forward, so it's just been trying to odds it up so it looks a bit more appealing to the eye. Because you're technically putting something dead straight into something that's that's not.
I suppose it's like when kitchen fitters have this problem trying to fit a new kitchen in an old stone cottage.
Yeah.
It's everything's straight. Well, the new things are straight, but obviously the old cottage isn't. Yeah. No, I mean, it's an old cottage. It's never going to be perfectly. Nothing's going to be perfectly straight. But that adds to the charm.
It wouldn't look right if it was bang on.
Yeah.
They are bang on plumb and bang on level, but it's just the shape of the wall and that back in the day. But they just have thrown it up.
Yeah.
But when I'm pointing it, I'm not going to come out too far, I'll bird speak it, and that'll have a bit of stone in there, obviously, and this will kind of clean up a bit.
Yeah.
When I point it.
So for people who are watching, can you explain to them what you explained to me yesterday about the beacon?
Yeah, that point in there is called bird's beak, and it's just to show the stone, and it's basically because it looks like a bird's beak. Really?
Yeah, so that kind of ridge in the middle of it, it's kind of like comes to a point, doesn't it?
Yep.
And because it kind of reminds you of
a bird's beak. It shows the stone off, whereas you could point that from there out to this edge, from that bottom of that stone out to here, but it doesn't look as nice. It doesn't show off the stone as, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Didn't get me wrong, you can do it and make it look nice. You hit it where you point it, let it go off for a bit, and you hit it with a wire brush just to get a kind of rustic effect and that. But that can look just as nice as well. But to follow on with this wall, this will need to be done bird's beak.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's go with the bird's beak. That sounds amazing.
Not the duck's bill.
Yeah.
Oh, good. These two guys are absolutely fantastic. If anybody needs a stove fitting or a little bit of kind of repointing or stonemasonry or anything like that around your stove, these guys are the ones to shout. Good stuff. Making progress.
Yeah, it's just getting it all solid and that. Yeah, as I say, Vicky's bringing a bag of lime and I'll mix a bit of lime up with the cement and that, and try and match this colour as best I can.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get it perfect, mate, no, with the weathering that it's already had.
No, of course. Yeah, yeah.
But I'll get it as close as.
Remember the mix when the rest of the wall's pointed, it'll match it, and then, won't it?
Mm-hmm.
So Chris has just pointed down the sides here, as you can see, and then he's going to bird beak that a little later on. Do you remember,
Yeah.
guys, what the bird beaking is?
Benji.
And so you can see here we've got this metal plate thing above it, so we need this anyway. So that's kind of like
A
Heat
register
resist-
plate.
heat
It's a
resistant.
register plate, it's called.
a register plate. So we've got a register plate. The chimney liner thing will come down here, and this will also act as a thingy for the
Building of the stone, it'll help.
the
it,
stones,
yeah.
because obviously this piece of sandstone lintel isn't wide enough, like, for these big stones. So that's just kind of something for them to sit on as well. At least I think that's what.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, Nick came up with that idea, and it's a cracker because, as I say, I would be restricted to building just a I kind of could maybe go 10 mil bigger if that wasn't on, but with that being there, I can go like 20, 30 mil wider, which is always better.
Yeah, yeah,
Gave me a support, and better to build off of on the way up, because I'll get smaller as I go up. Can start off with the big stones and get smaller as I go up.
It's galvanised steel as well, so it won't rot in there.
galvanized steel.
Yeah.
Excellent, good stuff.
Before anyone asks, it doesn't get hot enough to release gases.
All right.
Apparently galvanised, if you superheat it, it does release some kind of toxic gas or something, but this doesn't get hot enough. But somebody smart out there will know the exact degree.
So there you go. I don't want any comments. Say, what about the toxic gases? Because there will be none.
We spray the underside of the plate black as well, just so it looks more like a void. I
Yeah,
think you'll see it, but it's just one of the things we do.
just for cosmetic purposes, I guess. Yeah.
So that's as deep as I want to take that with the cement. As I say, when I get the lime, I'll do a match, try and get it as close, and then
Yeah.
I will do the shaping of stone and bird beacon out, and that. It's just got to take a wee bit more time. Know what I'm saying? You could just go like that and whack that full of cement, but it'd look horrible.
Yeah.
Know
yeah.
what I'm saying? It just wouldn't look the part.
No.
Especially when you've gone to the bother of getting this nice stone and that.
It's going to look absolutely beautiful when it's done.
Hingy bit, but that cement's going to hold that absolutely rock solid, and I've been pinning it with slate all the way as well.
Yeah. So this is Nick up on the roof. I think he's trimming the liner and fitting the new cowl to the chimney. And this is the liner.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Definitely not.
under here that if you look up you'll be able to see, like, but...
So this is the liner down the chimney. Did he find the chimney okay? I thought I heard him say there was like two, because we were wondering that. We were like, there's two chimneys, which one's connected to this one?
Yeah, we've had that before, and we usually shout down and...
I'm assuming the other chimney must be for the one that's straight up there in my office, probably behind the plasterboard. So great, let's have a look at this before it gets sealed up. So that's the liner down the chimney. And can we see?
Yeah, if you look up under, there's an adapter on it that the stove fits.
Let's see if we can see it with a torch. Ah, there we go, yeah. Oh, cool.
And the sleeve comes off the stove up onto that.
Yeah.
To seal it.
Good stuff. So that's all nice and tight now and sealed. Just ready for the stove to go in, is that right?
Well, it gets sprayed and then as I say, we'll get the hearth down and then the stove on, and Nick will it'll probably come off with a bend because it's as close to the back wall. Again, there'll be a bend on it or off the stove and up onto it, mate.
Right. Brilliant. What do you think, Benji? You're going to be a black Labrador by the end of this, aren't you? Are you supervising? Are you doing middle? We should actually put something in there behind the stone before it gets sealed up. And then in 100 years' time, when somebody else decides to do any refurbishments, they may find it. Like a little time capsule. What do you think, Benji? Should we put one of your toys in? Should we put your toy in? For somebody to find in 100 years? Huh? Wouldn't that be something? Huh? And as you can see, it's coming along really nicely, isn't it? What do you think? How gorgeous is that sandstone? Especially now that they've distressed it a little bit to make it look less manufactured and make it look more like what you would think when you think of natural sandstone. So the guys have just left. What they've done is they've put cement down where the hearth will go tomorrow, because that was just earth underneath there. It was just soil, and that's how these cottages were built in the old day. So they put a layer of cement down. That will harden overnight, and then tomorrow they'll put the new hearth down, because the old hearth didn't go as far back as it needed to for the multi-fuel burner stove. And we thought a quirky little thing what we would do is a bit of a time capsule thing. Benji and I are going to sign our names in the cement, and it will remain there for all eternity, or certainly until somebody comes along in 100 years' time and decides to rip out the fireplace again and do something different. So I spoke to the stonemason. I was like, "Is this safe to write our names or put Benji's paw print in the cement?" He's like, "It's completely safe as long as obviously you wash the cement off fairly quickly." So let's do this. I would have waited for Adam, but he's at work, and the cement, by the time he gets home, it might have dried a little bit too much. It kind of needs to be done within the next hour or so. So Benji, should we do our little time capsule? Should we sign our name in the cement? Well, it's that time again, folks. Unfortunately, we've run out of time yet again, so we'll need to see how the store fitters got on in the next video. In the meantime, have a fantastic new year, and we'll see you all next week.